Okay, so wiggle your bum down again, stretch out your back. Hello. Hello, Crowley. Do you want attention? So while you're in child's pose, I'm just going to give the old man a little bit of love. He's 11 years old and he's still going strong. He went for a big jog yesterday. Okay, child's pose. Wiggle it down. And my hand is dirty. And roll onto your hands and knees into a cat stretch and keep that cat back. When you come up from the child's pose, push up into a cat stretch, reverse into a cow, push away from the shoulders, just hold that, keep the tummy in, navel to spine. Tuck your toes under into a cat. Reverse into a cow. And neutral spine with the toes tucked under, neutral spine, tummy in, navel to spine. Send out your left leg in a straight line without dipping, and your opposite hand. The sofa. I'm cheating on the sofa. We're just going to hold that and bring it back. Not for too long. Send out the other leg without dipping. And the opposite hand. Don't put too much pressure in the standing wrists. Press your fingers into the floor and bring it back. Keep the toes tucked under, push into a cat stretch and reverse into a cow. Push back to child's pose. Wiggle your bum down. So every time we come back to hands and knees, we'll do something different, just to keep it interesting. But we're all going to do that. TVA, that's our core, it's our TVA work. And slide into a cobra. And all the way down to the floor. Forehead on the floor. And just grab your hands behind your back, shrug them back, and just hold that. Open up your chest. You don't have to lift up. Bring your hands back next to your sides and lift up into a cobra. Push it back to child's pose. Wiggle it down again, stretch it out. Onto your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Walk it out. Stretch it out. Fingertips into the floor so that you don't feel it in the palms. I want to say pulse because we call it pulse. And just find an easy downward dog. My heels is always a meter into the air. Lift up your right leg. Tuck it into your chest. Hug it into your chest and then bring that foot to the front of the mat. Keep that back leg lifted. Lift up into high lunge. All the way down to the floor. Step it in to the front of the mat. Forward bend, knees slightly bend. Hands to the mat. Step it back on your right leg. Put that right foot on the floor so that you can lift up. You can windmill your arms up into a warrior two. And then once you're in that position, just make sure that back leg is straight, that foot's on the floor, the front knee is bending over your little toes and it's pushed out. And you've got a nice deep knee bend, tummy tucked in, bum tucked in. Slide it forward and then go all the way into a dancing warrior to the back. Stretch it out. And back to warrior two. Slide it forward into a side angle pose and stretch it out. Nice and slow today. A lot of stretching and hip opening poses. And bring it back to warrior two. We're going to push it back again into that dancing warrior, bend that front knee in, and then we're going to windmill the arms all the way to the front of the mat. Turn that back foot into a high lunge, put the knee down, hands on your hips, just come into a low lunge and tuck that tailbone way under, squeeze that bum. Squeeze, squeeze. Come all the way forward, and then we're going to straighten out that front leg. You don't have to go crazy, just a little bit, lift up the foot. Keep high on it. So if you're not flexible at all, stay high. Don't fall over that leg and tear off the muscles. Walk it forward and step it back to downward dog. Lift up your left leg, tuck it into your chest, and then bring that foot to the front of the mat. Lift up into a high lunge. And then come all the way down to the floor, step it into the front of the mat. Fold over your legs. Hands to the mat, step back on your left leg, put that back foot down. And windmill your arms up into a warrior two. Again, just find that position, hips open, back leg strong, front knee bend, shoulders back and down. Tummy tucked in, hold that. Slide it forward, and then go back into your dancing warrior. Keep that front knee bend. Nice and strong, hold it strong. Back to warrior two. Slide it forward again and go into side angle pose. Take that top arm over your head, behind your ears, stretch out that waist. The foot's still on the floor. Front knee bend. And windmill your arms up into warrior two. All the way back again. No, sorry. Slide it forward and then go back into dancing warrior, only to windmill your arms back to the floor. Turn that back foot in. Put it down, that knee, and hands on your hips, go into that low lunge. Squeeze your tailbone in. Really squeeze your bum so that you can feel that stretch. Squeeze it harder if you think you can. Come all the way forward and straighten out that front leg. And don't go crazy because we haven't stretched loads of hamstrings. So that might feel a little bit tight. Walk it forward, step it back. To knees, push it into child's pose, wiggle your bum down. Onto your hands and knees. Tailbone tucked in, feet, no, sorry, not tailbone tucked in, feet, toes tucked in, neutral spine, navel to spine, keep it straight. We're going to lift up the knees and do that walking forwards and back. So lift up the knees into that tripod position and then just walk it without dropping whatever is on your back. Once you're at the front of your mat, go back again, all the way to the back of the mat. and then back to the middle. Deviate in. Once you're in the middle, drop your knees down and push it back to child's pose. Slide it forward into a cobra. Back to child's pose. Wiggle it down. And then just flow, keep that cat back until you're on your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under, downward dog. Walk it out. Find your stretch. And walk it to the front of the mat. Keep your legs slightly bent, hold over your knees. And this time we're going to roll up all the way to the top. Shrug your shoulders back, take a nice deep breath in. Shoulders down, hands into your chest. Take your legs wide. Feet forward. Take it as wide as you want. Feet forward, elbow tucked in. We're going to dip into a tabletop. And then hands underneath our face. Keep your tummy in. So navel to spine. Hands underneath more or less where your face is. We're going to twist towards the right. You can look up if you want. And bring it back, twist towards the other side. And look. I keep pushing my hip into that direction. Try not to do that. Back to the middle. And just flow, fall into a forward bend. Only to where you can go feet looking forward. Distribute the weight through your legs. Relax your shoulders. Back to a tabletop. We're going into the twist again. So left arm under your face. Try and keep the hips square. Twist to the right. And rotate back. Other side. Twist to the left. Back to the middle. Forward bend. And lift it up to tabletop. Just make sure your feet are okay, your feet secure, your ankles is okay, so wiggle them. And we're just going to walk our left hand towards our right side. So you can either just walk to the right with your hand, or you can grab a limb. That's up to you. So walk with the left hand towards as far to the right as you can. You can use the other hand there as well, behind your back, on your leg, it doesn't matter. Bring it back to the middle. Straight back, just wiggle your ankles. And then walk your right hand towards the left to wherever you can go. You can grab yourself in and pull yourself in, or just hold it there. Both on top of each other, that's up to you. Hips square. And back to the middle. Now heel toe your feet back to about hip distance apart. Keep the legs bent and fold over your legs. Keep them bent and roll it up slowly all the way to the top. Shrug your shoulders back. Go back to the front of your mat. Take a nice deep breath in, chair pose. Sweep the floor. Step back on your right leg. Put that right foot down. Bend the front knee in and windmill your arms back into a high, A warrior two. Slide forward and go back into a dancing warrior. Keep that front leg bent. Keep the tummy in. Keep the bum tucked in. Back to warrior two. Check your form. Make sure everything is in line and open. Slide it forward, go into a side angle pose and really go for that stretch with that arm behind your ear going to the opposite end of the room. And this straight leg, nice and strong, pushing this hip up, stretching it out. Don't lean into the leg. That's just a guide. Lift it back up to the top. Slide forward and slide back again into dancing warrior. And now windmill your arms all the way to the front of the mat. Turn that back foot in, put that back knee down, lift up into that low lunge. You can bring that front foot in a little bit, it doesn't matter. Just tuck the tailbone in as much as you can for that stretch. Hands to the mat, step it in and lift up your back knee, step it into the front of the mat. Knees bend. Hands to the mat. Step back on your left leg, put the left foot down, bend the front knee in, windmill your arms up. Into that warrior, hold, tuck in, straight line, shoulders back and down. Make sure that knee is out. Bend over, slide forward, and go all the way back into a dancing warrior. Breathe, bend, straighten, back to warrior two. Slide forward, side angle pose, and really go for that stretch. Back to warrior two. Just bend that front knee in a little bit more. Slide forward, go back into that dancing warrior. To windmill your arms all the way to the front of the mat. Turn that back foot in, put the back knee down, hands on your hips so that you can guide that tailbone tuck and really push it in as much as you can. Hands to the mat, lift up the back knee, step it into the front of the mat. Knees bend, fold, and then roll it up all the way to the top. Shrug your shoulders back. Take your legs wide again. Feet forward or slightly turned in, that's up to you. As wide as you can or want. There's no guidance on that. Hands in your hips, tailbone tucked in. Just hold that. Make sure your feet's okay. Maybe move the weight to the front of the feet. And then go into your tabletop back and hands underneath your face. Square out your hips. So try not to do what I did and dip towards the side you're twisting. I've got quite loose hips, so it's easy for me to do that. So keep them nice and square, tucked in. Take TVA tucked in, navel to spine. Leave the left hand, twist towards the right. Push your hips back in alignment. That's obviously going to mean you're not going to be able to go too high, but that doesn't matter. If the hips are straight, the back is twisting. And bring it back. Other side. Try not to rotate too much. And back to the middle. Forward bend. Enjoy. Pivot from your hips. Get the weight to the front of your feet. Pivot from your hips. Get a nice stretching. Don't go too far. Keep the tummy in. And just make sure the weight goes to the toes as well. And lift it back up onto into a straight back, onto your hands. Twist to the right again. Keep the hips square. Tummy in. And switch sides. Tummy in. back to the middle. Heel toe your feet in until you're about just a little bit wider than hip distance. Keep the legs bent. And we're going to lift up into a wide chair pose from there. Tummy in and straighten out all the way to the top. Hands into your chest. Move back to the front of the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. Chair pose again. Tummy in. And sweep the floor. Hands to the mat. Straighten out your legs. Step back to downward dog. Knees to the floor. Push back and wiggle back into child's pose. Onto your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. And we're going to lift up the left leg in a straight line at the opposite hand. And bring it back. Switch sides. Try not to drop your gin glass. And bring it back. Make sure your hands is not pressing into the floor too much. Tuck your toes under, lift up your knees, and walk it forward without dropping anything. Once you're at the front, walk it back. I'm dropping everything. Don't look, listen. Back to the middle. Drop the knees down, push it back to child's pose. Wiggle your bum down. It's nice to stretch it out that way, to wiggle a little bit. You get a nice little stretch in. Roll it back up onto your knees, shrug your shoulders back. And grab your hands behind your back or just your elbows and just straighten out. Push your shoulders back a little bit just for a stretch. You can just grab your elbows as well because you would feel a little bit stiff there. It's up to you. You can get to your elbows. Just open up your chest. Just hold that. Try not to arch your back too much. Just open up the chest. Just let the anterior delts and the pegs slide back a little bit. Stretch out a little bit. And there you go. Shake it out. You can sit on your bottom. Both legs forward. Separate your legs a little bit. In a V shape, sit nice and high on your back, and then just put your hands behind you and arch your back. Open up your chest, and then come back on top of your seat bones. Make sure nothing feels trapped. Flex your feet, and we're just going to walk down until you feel that stretch in your back or in your hamstrings. I think back first because the legs are wide. So the hamstrings should be okay. Flex the feet, engage the legs so that you don't surprise the stretch. And roll it back up to the top. Straighten out your back. Take a nice deep breath in. We're going to do that breath-led stretch, which is nice and relaxing. So you're going to exhale, dropping it to wherever you can go with your arms next to your ears. And then just hold it there until your exhale is finished. And then you're going to inhale, dropping your arms, but keeping your torso where it is, shrugging your shoulders back. You're going to exhale, pushing forward a little bit if you can. If you can't, just hold it there, hands on the floor. Listen. And then you're going to, I think we had exhale, inhale. Then we're going to roll it up, stack the spine. So once you hit your tailbone, start straightening it out, shrugging the shoulders back. And on the second shrug back, hold it back, grab your elbows and hold for a breath. Open up your chest, keep nice and straight. Shoulders push back, tummy in. Let go of the arms. Lift it up all the way to the top. Shrug the shoulders back. Okay, exhale, forward. Keep the arms next to the ears, don't drop the head. Inhale, drop the arms to the floor, minion. Exhale, push it down, but only as far as you can. Flex the feet. Inhale, roll it back up until you hit that tailbone. Once you hit it, you can straighten out the back. Shrug the shoulders back, breathe normally down, shrug it back again, and then grab your elbows behind your back. Sit up nice and straight. Keep your tummy tucked in, navel to spine. Shrug the shoulders back if you can. If you can't, it's fine. You should feel the stretch anyway. Big breath in. Big exhale out. On the next in-breath, lift up the arm. Keep straight with the back. Keep the navel to spine. Shrug the shoulders down. Exhale forward. Don't drop the head. Keep the arms next to the ears. Only go to where you can. Pull the breath out. Once the breath is out, inhale your hands down. And exhale it forward. Keep your eyes closed. You know what to do. Inhale, roll it back. Tuck your tailbone. Straighten out. Shrug the shoulders back. And on the next shrug back, grab your elbows behind your back. And open up your chest. Let the shoulders go back. We're going to do it one more time. Normal breath in and out. Close your eyes. On the next inhale, lift up the arms next to your ears. Drop the shoulders down. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, drop the arms. Exhale, push it forward. Don't go too far. Inhale, lean back, hit the tailbone, stack the spine, straighten out. Normal breath. Shrug the shoulders back. When you shrug it back again, just sit up nice and straight, hands into your chest. One big breath in, one big breath out. And on the next one, have a lovely day. You are done for today. I hope that last one relaxed you a little bit. Did you hear my soothing voice? I tried really hard.